gonna pick. He's kind of looking at me. I'm a little bit nervous here, but I'm an alligator wrestler in the state of Florida, and I think some of that's gonna help me out here in this hot, humid environment.
We got an alligator wrestler. I like that. Okay.
2 alligator wrestlers.
Oh, wow. Really
I work at a sanctuary.
Wow.
When people first meet me, they probably think that I'm more like down to earth, more calm, more level-headed, but I have a bunch of weird hobbies that nobody else really does. I am an archer, I'm a free diver who also knows how to spearfish and make my own spear. I can also craft things for shelters, and I can identify a bunch of different fruits in this environment.
Okay.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah.
Abby, I'm getting some really tough and resilient vibes from her. Right off the bat, she's not the first person I want to choose to eliminate.
What do you got? Talk to me about skills.
Huge outdoorsman, big hunter.
Marshall's literally like fitting into the slot for hunter.
Killed over 40 deer, 20 pigs, 10 turkey.
That's a perk. And Pharaoh tells me that he wrestles alligators. It's like I could have picked them one by one off the game board and been like, this is what I want.
I grew up with 3 older brothers, so I love being tethered with Pharaoh. I'm kind of learning a lot from him.
All right, take a look at this thing. I found this in the fishing traps.
Oh, what is that?
Big old snails.
He's very knowledgeable, smart. He's the best jungle man I've ever been around.
Ah, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Ooh. Whoa.
Looky there, baby.
Wow.
God dang, that's like a hamburger.
What's up, everybody? This is Pharaoh from Pharaoh's Wildlife Kingdom, and today I'm going to talk about my time out in the Panamanian jungle during the show Outlast the Jungle. This was a show on Netflix. It's a survival show. You have to win as a team and get to the very end and finish a race. You guys, this was probably one of the craziest experiences I've ever had in my life and one of the craziest adventures I've ever gone on. So there's definitely a lot that I want to cover. There's a lot of things I want to talk about. And so without further ado, guys, let's just dive right into it. All right, first things first, this wouldn't be a wildlife video if I didn't have any wildlife. I've got some wildlife behind me, but I'm also going to introduce you guys to a good friend of mine. This is an animal that I use for a lot of my presentations. This is a ball python, and her name is Cinnabon. And Cinnabon is a snake that we've had for probably about a year now. And this was a snake that was given to us because the previous owners no longer had the ability to take care of this snake anymore. So thankfully, this snake is here with us, but you can take a look. This is one of the most common pets that you'll find in the pet trade, primarily because they don't get very big. This is an average size adult. Being a female, she is gonna get a little bit bigger. And this snake, instead of biting like some other snakes might do if they're feeling scared or threatened, will actually have a tendency of curling itself up into a ball and protecting itself. So that is something that is unique about this snake, and that is something that makes this snake a desirable pet. This snake is pretty easy to care for as well. So if you guys want a pet snake, I strongly recommend a ball python. All right, so I'm gonna let the snake just hang out right here. So a little background on myself, guys. It's not really covered so much in the show, but you guys, I've been a professional wildlife educator in the state of Florida for the last 15 years, but I had reptiles ever since I was a little kid. So really, as long as I can remember, I've always been fascinated with these animals. And right now, I'm currently in a position where I have my own business. I do shows for schools, birthday parties, daycares, private events, festivals, and fairs, literally all throughout Florida, all year round. And it's something that I'm very, very passionate about. And right now, we're currently working on a huge project in trying to really get going an alligator rescue. Alligators are definitely a big part of my education here in Florida. And our goal is to have an alligator rescue somewhere in Central Florida. And so my main purpose and motivation of even going out on this adventure of Outlast was to financially position the business to actually do that. So that's something we're still very strongly working on. And if you guys want to help support, I'll leave a link down in the description so you guys can go ahead and do that as well. So that's a little bit of background as to why I was even out for Outlast anyway, and what my motivation was the entire time that I was out there. Now, I'm going to go through a Q&A. People have been sending me messages ever since the show came out. Lots of questions, lots of support, all kinds of stuff, everything you can think of. So you guys, I've been basically collecting a lot of some of the most frequently asked questions, and I'm going to go through that in this video. So hopefully I can clarify some of you guys' questions. And but before I do that, I do want to touch on two things. I want to say something, but I also want you guys to understand something very important about my explanation while I was out on Outlast. For one, I want you guys to really understand that there were several days and weeks that we were out there, at least for me, you know, all going all the way to the end of the show. And you guys are literally seeing a tiny, tiny fraction of everything that went on out there, okay? So I want you guys to really, really keep that in mind, that no matter, and I think I could probably speak for season 1, season 2, season 3, and future seasons, no matter how many of these videos you watch, or Q&As are done, or podcasts you listen to, you guys, you're never gonna fully have the full extent of the context of what was really going on out there. You guys, there was so many conversations, so many, just generally, just so many things going on that it would be impossible to put it all in one show. You guys, they made an 8 episode, and you know, they did what they could with all of the footage that they had. So obviously they did a great job. They were #1 on Netflix, which was absolutely amazing. But you guys, yeah, so hopefully this gives you just a little bit more context, but just, again, just keep in mind, no matter what, you're only really getting a tiny piece of what really happened out there. The other thing I want to say is thank you. I want to say thank you to absolutely everybody who has been sending me messages. I have gotten nothing but so much support from you guys about the whole thing, and I'm overwhelmed. It's something I definitely did not expect, and I'm truly, truly thankful from the bottom of my heart to everybody out there who has sent me support, love, and just words of encouragement. So I really, really am thankful for you guys doing that. And I also want to give thanks to Outlast and Netflix for giving me the opportunity to go out there. You guys, this was an adventure of a lifetime, and you know, I can't even imagine how many people wish they were in the position that a lot of us were in when we were out there. So every day that I was out there, I will say, I was truly thankful just to be there. And I just want to make sure that you guys all know that. And yeah, let's get into these questions. Also, guys, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, leave a like, and you guys do not forget to watch this video all the way until the end, because at the end I am going to have bonus videos of some other people from the show giving their perspective on Team Bravo and what was going on out there as well. I've got Sean, Abby, and a little bit of Ben towards the end of this video, so make sure to stay all the way until the end. All right, first question. How much weight did you lose? You guys, I lost about 20 pounds while being on the show. Preparing for the show, I gained 20 pounds, maybe 25 pounds, so somewhere around there. So I definitely came prepared to lose weight. I came prepared with a lot of fat on my body. This was the biggest I've ever weighed in my life. As a matter of fact, watching that first episode was a little bit interesting. I've never seen myself that big. But yeah, I gained 20 pounds for the show and lost about 20 pounds. So yeah, I came ready to rock and roll. All right, also there was a lot of camera people helping out on the show. Were there ever any episodes where they were on camera, or did they just get cut out? So you guys, everybody who was working on set, especially everybody that had a camera, were real, true professionals. As a matter of fact, I really believe that one of the things that separates Outlast from a lot of other shows is how good a quality the production is when it comes to the filming aspect of it. And no, I don't think anybody was getting cut out. I think they just all really knew what they were doing. When we would go on a hike or an adventure or talk to people, they were positioning themselves perfectly so they didn't get in each other's way. And they all had their, you know, their little microphones that they were kind of whispering in to as well. And some of that communication was probably something along the lines of, hey, can you move over to the left? You're in my shot, or something like that. But these guys are straight professionals. They knew what they were doing, and it was definitely an honor and a privilege to work with them as well. So that was really cool. But Yeah, I don't think they got cut out or were in the way. Who were you the closest with? Okay, so I was really, really close with Sean in the beginning of the game for sure. Eventually he had that accident, so he had to go. But Sean and I connected immediately. Before we even were starting to walk over to team, we kind of looked at each other, and I think we kind of knew that we wanted to be on the same team. We used to play football, we were personal trainers, we both have limitations to what kind of animals we can kill because we love animals so much. And I can also sense with Sean that he was serious about winning this game. And so I was able to pick that energy up off of him, and I told myself I really think that this guy is going to be a huge asset to this team. But, you know, of course now we're best friends, and, you know, he lives not too far from me, so we definitely hang out every now and then, and yeah, he's a really, really good friend of mine to this day. Abby, I'm really close to as well. I didn't grow really close to Abby up until the second part of the game. The second part of the game, when Abby and I really had to work together and really had to start talking a lot more with each other, I really gained a lot of respect for her, because I'm also realizing at the same time that Abby is incredibly tough. She's got a really strong, positive personality about her. I mean, when you're out there living in the jungle, guys, that really does something mentally to you. Like, it's tough. I mean, I was always okay. I wasn't jumping with joy every day, but I was definitely focused on the finish line. Abby never complained, and I think I saw her arms covered in more bug bites than anybody else on the island. I mean, it was her arms and her body, and her getting bit up was horrendous, and she never complained. And she slept in some pretty hard conditions, and that girl is tough. So yeah, we share the passion for wildlife. We're both alligator wranglers or wrestlers, whatever you want to call it. And so I am very, very thankful to have Abby as a good friend of mine to this day. But yeah, Abby and Sean, I think I was probably the closest with while I was out there on the island. How did you feel about Marshall leaving? Okay, so you guys, Marshall leaving was a huge blow. But at the same time, it wasn't entirely surprising. I mean, it was surprising for me to hear him say those words, I think I'm going to go. I remember specifically, he saw it on the show. I looked back at him. I said, no, you're not. What are you talking about? And I told him, here, come over here. Let's talk about this for a minute. I said, listen, man, you got your whole family counting on you. And, you know, I can tell the dialogue went on a lot longer than the show showed, but we had talked for at least a minute or two. And I could clearly tell that he had not only just made up his mind, but I really did feel convicted on trying to get him to stay at one point in that conversation, because I truly felt that in his heart, it was so much more important for him to get back home than to be out here on this island. And again, I said it in the show, it was more important for him to be home and be a present father than for the money. And I commend him for that. I respect him quite a bit for that, and I think it takes a man to really be able to do that. And so yeah, that was tough, but I understood it. I truly understood it. And yeah, it was just one of those things where it's like, all right, well, we're just gonna have to figure it out, kind of a situation. But yeah, I wish he would have stayed, but you know, sometimes there are things a lot more important than the game, of course. So all right, so I'm gonna read a few of these off because I probably got this question more than any other, and when I start reading it, it's not going to surprise you, but were the men on Charlie as insufferable in real life as they were on the show? Please give the scoop on your opinion on Team Charlie. Were the men on Team Charlie as rude as they were portrayed on the show? And it goes on and on and on. So you guys, yeah, listen, we were limited, or at least I was limited with my interactions with Team Charlie, because obviously everybody has their team in their sections. And the times that I interacted with Charlie, they never gave me direct attitude or a real issue to my face, despite Brett's opinion about me being a booger on a paper plate. But anyway, that was something I didn't have to deal with personally myself. However, that incident where you saw Wes and Brett and Braxton with Morgan, Abby, and Sarah, after that happened and they got back and they told us, after that, we made sure that we were always with them whenever they were out getting coconuts, and ever since then they never really messed with them. They would definitely watch us, but they never tried to like, you know, press us or anything like that after we had started going with them. But yeah, after they had told us that, I mean, I was pretty surprised that that happened. And so yeah, that was a pretty big deal. As far as what I have been told and as far as what I saw on television, because I was only able to see just as much as you guys as far as what was going on over there. Yeah, I'm personally, I'm not a fan of that kind of style of play. I think it kind of speaks for itself. All right, what did you eat out there? You guys, there was actually a lot of food out in the jungle that we had access to. Hibiscus flowers were one of them. Coconuts, cattail, heart of palm, cactus, chittens, clams, shrimp, crabs. Our biggest source of protein though were these large, and I mean large, sea snails that we would find after we had won those goggles during the first challenge. After we had got those, I was able to find these large snails clinging on to the rocks over by the beach. And there's a scene where Marshall and I are over by the beach and we're finding those things. And I also found the oysters. The oysters were something that Sean and I were looking for quite a bit, and I wasn't able to find them until after he left. But after he left, I was able to find those oysters, and those oysters, some of them were massive. We had huge clams, huge snails, and I think those were our biggest sources of protein. And guys, we even, we took the ocean water, we evaporated it, we scraped out the salt, and we sprinkled it on all of our food to give us electrolytes, but also to give it flavor. And it was just absolutely delicious. You guys, these oysters were the best oysters I've ever had, better than any restaurant. So again, coconut, cattail, heart of palm, black palm fruit, cactus, chittens, clams, shrimp, all kinds of stuff, guys. All right, what was the most dangerous wildlife encounter you experienced during the show? You guys, this is a good question, and I want you guys to watch this video until the end because Sean talks a little bit about this encounter as well. Sean, myself, and Abby were looking around the beach. We were reconning. It was early on in the game, and we were trying to find whatever we could for survival, anything. But one of the things that Abby and I were specifically looking for was crocodiles. And there was fresh water kind of flowing behind Team Charlie and into the ocean. We followed that water more inward, and as we got further along, Abby and I were going into this canal, and Sean was kind of a little bit further behind us, but he was up on land. So he was kind of looking out, but also reconning what he could find on land. Abby and I were literally in the water eventually we got neck deep. And as we're kind of traversing through this canal, I'm looking on the surface and I see a little head pop up with two little eyes, and then it go back down, and then I see another one, and then another one. And then before this whole interaction was over, I had saw probably about 6 American crocodiles. This is Crocodylus acutus. These are one of the coolest crocodilian species out there. These are one of the few that can actually live and thrive in saltwater, just like the American crocodile. And so to see them this close, all these little babies, it was a remarkable experience. And basically I started to realize, you know what, the mother crocodile is probably around here somewhere, or could be, and this is actually a very dangerous situation. I actually kind of signaled to the cameraman. I said, hey, you guys, I need you, everybody stop moving, everybody kind of look around and be very aware of what's around you, because I don't need anybody getting attacked right now. So Abby and I slowly kind of made our way up out of the canal. Abby wanted to keep going, but eventually we got out, and that was just a really cool experience. I think the mother crocodile was probably not around, but if she was, that would have been probably and maybe the most dangerous wildlife encounter that I had out there. Other than that, I was dealing with the crazy bugs. All right, why did none of you guys try to navigate through the jungle for food and resources? Were you forbidden to move far from your territory? You guys, this is something that is, again, I talked about this in the beginning of this. You're really only seeing a tiny little piece of what went on out there. We definitely went out and recon, just like the whole crocodile situation, which didn't make the cut. But there was another. I'll give a perfect example. Me and Marshall went on this was his idea. We went on this crazy long hike deep into the jungle behind our camp. And then eventually we popped out all the way on the other end around Charlie, but we went deep into that jungle, and areas where it got so thick, you know, you couldn't see any further than an arm's length in front of you. And we were literally just pushing our way through and hacking away with our machetes. But we saw a lot of cool things. That's where we discovered the black palm fruit. We were able to bring that back. Also on that hike, I discovered the cattail. I was able to bring lots of cattail back as well. I ate that. And I would say a perfect example of what exemplifies Team Bravo is what happened during that hike. Marshall actually lost our knife, I believe, during that hike. And you guys, if you're out there trying to survive, losing a knife is a pretty big deal. But the thing was, I think he beat himself up more than any of us were. I mean, I kind of looked at it like, wow, this is unfortunate, but hey, you know, it's okay. We make mistakes. We still have 2 machetes. We'll figure it out. But what he did to actually try to like step up and or correct it is that he got back and took the filer that we actually had to sharpen our machetes. He used that to cut one of the machetes we had in half and literally made like a large knife / small machete out of it, which was amazing. That thing came in so much handy that we used that to actually get the oysters later on in the game. So that was a huge help. And again, a perfect example of what Team Bravo was all about. We leaned on each other. We helped each other. We stepped up when we needed to. And it was just a perfect example. So yeah, to answer that question, we definitely went on a lot of excursions. All right. What was the toughest thing you faced outside of challenges? So the bugs were mentally a very tough thing to get around. At some point towards the third quarter of the game, I definitely had an extreme amount of abdominal pain, which eventually went away, but that was excruciatingly painful. And then, of course, by far the hardest thing to do the whole time I was out there, guys, were those decisions. I want everybody to understand that this is a game, and the main goal of the game is to win. And although those decisions were really, really, really difficult, you know, I don't regret what we did as a team and what we agreed on and what we voted on. All we were doing was trying to position ourselves to try to win the game the best we could. I will say, if we did not make those decisions, we would have definitely flared out. We would not have made it to the final round. I'm almost like 99% sure of that. That was definitely by far the toughest decisions of the game, and that was the toughest thing I had to deal with, for sure. All right, who would be your dream team to select out of all the contestants? All right, I think I would definitely stick with Bravo. 100%, actually. Yeah, there's no thinking. I would stick with Bravo. I would say if I could add somebody to the team, it would be one of 2 people. It would either be Dave. From what I saw on the show, Dave really seemed like a good guy, respectful guy, and probably had a lot of skills too. So I think Dave would have fit in really well and would have been just great for me to work with personally. Also, I think a good fit for Team Bravo and for me to work with personally, I think would be Leah. I think she would have fit in pretty nicely with us as well. But other than that, guys, I really would stick with Bravo. I am Bravo through and through. All right, I always knew you and Abby were going to survive. Such a good team. How was your mental health during the whole show? I'd say my mental health was pretty good. I didn't have any real issues mentally. I was, however, really focused on the finish line the entire time. And from the first day to the last day, I looked at the whole thing like a marathon. I told myself every single day that I was here, you know, just got to keep pressing on, just keep going. Eventually you'll make it to the end. It was a marathon. I wasn't trying to run sprints in the beginning of the show and put a target on my back or, do something. One of my strategies going into the game, and again, it's not shown as much, but I really wanted to show how valuable I was to my team. And, I went out and made sure that I, displayed my abilities to start a fire, helped with the shelter, brought in lots of food when it came to foraging, and made a couple of hammocks actually that we all slept in. And I made some animal traps that I didn't catch anything in them, but I was definitely, using as much of my bushcraft skills as I possibly could out there, not only to display my value, but really to help my team. So yeah, my mental state the entire time was take it one day at a time, make sure you get to the next day. And another part of this game, guys, other than just surviving and having some bushcraft skills, is having a tremendous amount of social awareness. Now, one of the things that I think they did show well about me is that I really observed people and was really careful about the things I did and said when I was out on the island. And I think it worked out in my favor because, again, I made it to the end, but I was trying to be very careful about every move I made out there because there was a lot on the line for me personally. You know, I came out there to win, and that's what I needed to do. And I didn't want to make a move or do something wrong that would jeopardize that. But again, I guess I did it right because I made it to the end of the game. So I think my mental state for the most part was, for the most part, it was very focused, I think is the best way for me to describe it. What was your favorite moment on or off the screen? Okay, my favorite moments, I have two. And Sean and Abby talk about their favorite moments. And I want you guys to watch that as well because I'm involved in both of those. And those two were definitely some of my favorite stories. And I'm almost not even just going to talk about them just because they're going to talk about it. So I want to talk about two other moments that I really, felt really good about. Number one was that first night when we were out at Camp Bravo. You guys, that first night, there was so much going on. You know, we established ourselves as the team. We built the camp. I started the fire. And you guys, it was such a good feeling. That whole night, we didn't sleep. Or at least I don't remember sleeping that whole night. Not because it was uncomfortable. I remember literally talking all night long to my team. We were all talking with each other, getting to know each other, learning about our personal lives back home. You guys, we developed such a strong bond during that night. And one of the things I was so concerned about when I first got on the show was I knew that I wasn't going to come out here to kill and eat reptiles. Okay, that's literally what I do for a living. There's no way I'm going to go and do that. And it just defeats the whole reason why I was even out there to begin with. So no, I'm not going to go out and kill reptiles. But I knew that when I get on the show, I might have a team that really doesn't like that. And I was really nervous to tell my team about that. So that first night when we were there talking and we were all really bonding, I felt like, okay, this is a perfect time for me to let them know. And so I said, listen, guys, I have something to tell you. This is basically my story. This is what I do back home. If you guys don't mind, I'm not going to be the one killing and partaking in the reptiles. If you guys absolutely feel the need that you need to do that in order to survive, then go ahead. But that's something I'm not going to take part in. And I hope that you guys can respect that. And they absolutely did respect it. As a matter of fact, not only did I have a weight lifted off my shoulders, but I had even more weight lifted off my shoulders because soon after I said that, Sean went ahead and said, hey, listen, guys, I also have something to confess as well. And we're like, what? And he's like, well, I have some rescue pigs and if I came out here and killed pigs, my wife would kill me. And everybody respected that too. And you know what? It made me feel so much better that, and then it was another thing that him and I bonded over. Me, Abby, and Sean, one of the things that the three of us bonded over was our strong love for wildlife. So I respected him not killing the pig, and they respected me not killing the reptiles. But like I mentioned earlier, there really was still plenty to eat. It's not like we needed those things in order to survive out there on the island. We definitely found a way, and we made it work. My other favorite moment during Outlast was that second to last challenge when Abby and I had to go and face Charlie and Alpha in this fire bow and arrow challenge that we didn't know what to expect from. But we obviously made some really tough decisions in order to position ourselves to even have a chance in that challenge. And I just thought to myself, there's a lot of pressure to make sure that this works. And I just was so focused, and You know, I got that fire going as quickly as I've ever started a fire. I think it was within 2 minutes I got that fire going. Abby is really good with the bow, and she just knocked it out the park. And the fact that her and I worked so well together in that moment and just were so far ahead of Alpha and Charlie in that challenge, and we won. When she hit that, I mean, the feeling was so overwhelming. You know, it was like, wow, we did it. We did it. We really did it. We're making it to the finals, and we're gonna make it to the end of this game. So I was overly joyed during that moment. So those are my 2 favorite moments while I was out on the island. Would you do it again? In a heartbeat. All right, so I've got 3 questions here. I'm gonna kind of answer them all together. I got, did you guys get anything for being second place? How did you guys feel about not winning the race? And do you wish you'd done anything differently? So you guys, I'm just gonna say this. I gave it my absolute all. Abby and I both gave it our all when we were out there. I have no regrets about how I performed. I think Abby and I worked really well together. And I think that as long as I had left there completely exhausted and literally nothing left in the tank, I was satisfied, and I could look back and say, you know what? I really gave it my all. And you know what, guys? I really do feel like Abby and I won in the sense that, you know, we didn't win the money, but, you know, we left there ourselves. I mean, I came in as Pharaoh, Abby came in as Abby, and we left as ourselves. We didn't lose ourselves in this game, which I think is saying a lot. This was a pretty crazy, intense situation to put yourself in this jungle for that long in those conditions, and to still kind of keep a level head, still maintain respect for everyone. And you guys saw our reactions at the end of that race. You know, Abby and I both went up, gave Maddie and Nikki a hug, shook their hands, told them congratulations. And you know what? You know, it feels okay, you know, because Nikki and Maddie are extreme competitors. I will definitely say that they are competitors. They are very smart. I feel good about the whole situation. I have no regrets, and that's my take on it. All right, you guys, now just to reiterate, this is just a small piece of what went on out there. I can literally talk about this for hours and hours and hours. There's so much. There's no way I'll be able to cover it in any amount of videos that I make. But I hope this gave you a little bit more insight as to what went on out there. Hopefully I answered some of your questions. If you have any other questions, you guys, please leave it in the comments down below. I will get to them. At least I will do my best to get to them. If you guys, again, live in Florida and you would like a chance to have a wildlife presentation, that is what we do here at Pharaoh's Wildlife Kingdom. We'll come out to you. We do shows for schools, birthday parties, daycares, private events, festivals, and fairs. And again, if you guys would like a wildlife show, just give us a message, send us an email, give us a call, and we'll come on out there. Again, this is if you're in the state of Florida, anywhere in Florida, it doesn't matter. Or if you guys just want to help support us, I'm going to also leave a few links down in the description box. A link to our GoFundMe, which is directly linked to our major project for our alligator rescue, and also our merch shop that you guys can check out our merchandise as well. But yeah, you guys, please show your support. If you have any other questions, please leave it in the comments down below. If you liked this video, please leave a like, share with your friends. And you guys, thank you so much again for all of your support, all of the amazing, wonderful messages that I've been receiving. It really means a lot to me. I couldn't even begin to tell you how thankful I am for that. Thank you so much. Have a great day, and God bless. Also, you guys, don't forget to stay tuned for the bonus videos.
There was a time where I went exploring with Pharaoh, Abby, and myself, the two crocodile hunters or alligator wrestlers or whatever you want to call them, and we went upstream in one of the deep trenches. I was not in the water, but they went looking for crocodiles, and we found a bunch of baby crocodiles swimming in the water. And of course, everyone was watching for Mama lurking somewhere and never found her. But I was on the edge following the bank, and they were literally swimming neck deep in this trench, and just no fear. Like, being around these two is absolutely insane, and it was exhilarating while also very scary, because at one point I had to cross and I was the biggest baby, but I got neck deep in that bitch too, and I wish it could have been shown on television. I did that shit. Crazy. No wonder they made the last episode and almost won the damn thing.
think I got about 4 hours of sleep every single night. And that was partially because I found out that I was allergic to the palm fronds. And so I ended up sleeping on the top of the crate that we got at the very beginning of the game, close to the fire. And our team would take turns getting up and stoking the fire and keeping it alive through the night. But since I was sleeping so close to the fire, sometimes it would be easier for me to just do it. So I would wake up, go get firewood if we needed firewood, stoke the fire, lay back down on my board, wake up like 30 minutes later, and do it all over again. And Pharaoh was doing it a lot too. And that poor guy, he just probably had the worst sleep out on that island out of anybody there. He would move from the palm frond bed to a stump outside of our shelter to another area, just trying to get some kind of sleep during the night. Like he was working so hard and getting no sleep at all.
Team would you want to transfer to and why? That's an easy one. Bravo team. Those guys are awesome. They had a really good vibe. They're a very cohesive unit and they were very skilled. Abby and Pharaoh were a force to be reckoned with, and I would have loved to be on a team with them. And Marshall and Sean. I mean, like, there's a lot of talent and grit and loyalty there with their team. And we're all friends now, so like we all have this shared experience of being on the show and going through that. So now we all like talk on like the group chat that we've got going, especially since the show got released. So I'm trying to put together a reunion with these guys.
Impression on you. So on site, my boy Pharaoh. Pharaoh just looks like he knows what he's doing. And I'm very glad he ended up on Bravo. One of the reasons why it was very easy to make that decision to drift that direction. Number two, when we started to discuss what everyone's skill sets were, Abby, and what she spouted off were such random skill sets, like deep diving, creating spears for spear fishing, alligator wrestler, archer from horseback. Like, you don't just lie about those things. You lie about very basic skills and throw things out. And so immediately I was like, okay, I'm impressed she's staying. That was very, very easy and very, very lucky. Still say it to this day that those two were on Bravo Squad.
So I've been getting this question a lot, and the thing is, Morgan was the most difficult decision we had to make during the game. So what they don't show in the episode is that Pharaoh and I actually had a couple other conversations before that conversation on the beach. And Pharaoh came up to me and he was very worried about starting a fire with a fire saw against two teams that had Pharaoh rods. And rightfully so, because those teams had fire saws at the very beginning of the game and they weren't able to start a fire for over a week. So if we went in against them with our fire saw, it was kind of a losing game. So we were like, well, let's just hold off for a little bit. Let's see what Charlie does. Let's see if Alpha will actually come down and want to trade for Leah's shoes, and see what happens so we can keep Morgan in the game. But as time kept passing, we did come to the decision that we needed the Pharaoh rods in order to continue on.
Also, these last two are just main ideas, but number one, we, at least at Bravo Camp, and I'm sure Alpha was the same way, we had so many survival skills that we were able to show off because of necessity the first week that we were out there, my time out there. I mean, Pharaoh built a hammock out of vines that we like chilled and took naps in. I have a picture of it, I'll eventually post it, but we did so many like bushcraft things. Pharaoh named so many animals and gave us like National Geographic like kids show explanations where I just feel like a 7-year-old just oohing and awing at everything he knew about everything that was out there. And then just the jokes and the fun, and you guys missed out on so much because we only had eight episodes. It could have been a 20 episode season, honestly, but how much fun we had. And I think Alpha and probably Charlie feels the same way. We just had a good time. We were just barely eating and sleeping, but it was so much fun getting to know each other and just goofing off. And
Who do I like the most from Team Bravo? I'm actually currently in touch with like pretty much all of Bravo team, and they're all great, but I think my personal faves were probably Marshall. Like, he and I like saw each other and immediately were like, yo, we should be on the same team. And then it just didn't work out with the camps we went to, because there was too many people going to fire. But that's initially where I was going, was with Marshall to fire camp, and then I peeled off to hunting when I realized that there was like 9 people originally going to the fire camp. And Pharaoh. Pharaoh has a very calming presence, just as he comes across. He is a diplomat through and through. He's intelligent and soft-spoken and confident. But all of them are great. Abby's great. Sean's great. I mean, I'm homies with all of them now.
Oh, I would have jumped ship as soon as I saw that whole Lord of the Flies thing going on. But luckily over at Bravo, we had the most non-misogynistic, selfless, hardworking, ready to listen to anybody's ideas guys that I could have hoped for on a team. There were so What I think the show really misconstrued was me being irritated at Pharaoh for leading us in the wrong direction. Like, we were a team. We were making decisions as a team. We were doing everything as a team. So I was irritated at us as a team for making that mistake and wasting that much time, not at Pharaoh himself. Like, we were both at fault for taking that wrong turn and then having to scramble to find the path again.
This is a good one. What is your opinion after watching the show? What do you think about your team? So in these situations, when I get questions like this, my first thought, and I want yours to be too, is that we just watched an edit of what happened, a small bit that is shaped to fit a storyline to highlight certain players and create certain story arcs, make people make people out to look like villains. Maybe they fit in those slots easier than others, and maybe some didn't, and they had to manipulate what they said and did to make it seem that way, or selectively eliminate certain scenes or actions to make people look a certain way. And in Bravo's case, we were the most cohesive unit in the very beginning of the game, and that's not good TV. It didn't have a lot of drama. We weren't arguing. We didn't hate each other. We got up, we had tasks, we knocked them the fuck out, and production seemed like they enjoyed being around us because we were running the game. We had a great thing going together. Now, with that being said, we had such great chemistry that it wasn't really going to create a great storyline for the show. So they started to highlight Alpha and Charlie more, rightfully so, to build the storyline of the dynamic of what's going on and the drama and the stress and honestly things we didn't have at Bravo Camp. So maybe that started a little bit after I left. I don't know if it was because I left or because of the length of the game or people started missing their family or not having enough food, but I don't know how things would have changed had I been there. Hindsight's 2020, and there's so many different scenarios that would have changed things because there were still opportunities for me to get eliminated from other teams, which has never happened on Outlast before. So my opinion of my team is that they did the best they could with what they had at the time. Whether that included me or didn't include me, we went into every single day with what do we have to do today to put ourselves in the best position to win and have a good time doing it. Did you get queasy looking at them eating the bug and that's what made you pass out? No, I already covered this, but I'll answer this one again because it's a little bit more specific. No, I actually ate the bug and it made Marshall mad. Sorry, Marshall. But that was a different situation. So they used that as a good segue with my phrase of I'm going to wait until I'm a little hungrier to do that. The main idea with that is I had gained so much weight. The first 5 to 7 days, I was not very hungry. So when they kept bringing that bow from Alpha, myself and I know Pharaoh for sure, were like, we put on so much extra weight for this. We're good just nibbling on jungle appetizers for at least another week. And we felt that way. Now, my body was probably transitioning into ketosis and that starvation situation with not having a lot of carbs. So I got foggy, I got weak, I wasn't getting enough sleep or recovery, and I was dehydrated. So you couple all those things together, and that's part of why I passed out. And I stood up too fast after literally hyperventilating on a fire. So the bug was a different situation. I actually ate it. Tastes like fried rice. It was phenomenal. Bro, would you have been able to kick out a loyal member like your tribe did at the end? I do not fault Abby and Pharaoh doing the things that they did at the end of the game to put their team in the best position to win. And let me give you a different perspective on this that I agree with wholeheartedly. And I think Morgan might appreciate this too. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But if it had been Pharaoh, Abby, and me, I think that they should have voted me off. And they probably would say that they wouldn't do that. And I appreciate that. And I'm a loyal team member and they're loyal team members, but I'm not the best archer and I'm not the best with the fire. But Abby and Pharaoh are, and they need that Pharaoh rod for that challenge. Vote Sean off. That's what my answer is for that. And I hope that that also gives you what my answer would be too. The task is to be a good human and still win the game. But the number one thing is to win the game. We don't necessarily have to sacrifice our integrity, But integrity is a subjectively slippery slope in a game for $1 million that's based on outlasting other people strategically, and you have to be on a team to win, but only 2 people have to be a part of that team. So I think you have to do what you have to do to advance your team, because the goal is to win the game. You don't need to be hateful. You can still be a good human. You can still make good decisions, but it is not the real world. It is not a microcosm of reality, because you have rules that surround what you're trying to accomplish and what you're trying to do. It's a small sliver of a game. That's why it's called the game board. So I don't fault them for doing that, because I would think that it would be smart to do it to me if I was the third.
Oh my gosh, I love this question because this was like my favorite moment out on the island. So Pharaoh and I were going to look for crabs, and suddenly this baby armadillo just scurries across our path and like goes and hides in a hole in the tree. And Pharaoh, being like the wildlife guy that he is, he goes over and he pulls it out, and the little armadillo just kind of balls up in our hands with its legs up to the sky, and then looking up at us saying, "Please don't eat me." And we're not going to eat a baby armadillo. We're not monsters. So we let it go into the grass, and we didn't tell the rest of our team just in case they did want to eat the baby armadillo. So yeah, they didn't know about it.
What do you think of Pharaoh and Abby eliminating Morgan? I've already answered this once, but I'll give you an even more specific and nuanced, because that's what I do answer, because I think every situation is different. But you go into a challenge in a game like this to win the game. That's number one. And it doesn't mean not be a good human. It doesn't mean not have integrity. But again, integrity is a subjectively slippery slope in a game for $1 million. You need to make the best moves to get your team in the best position to win the game. That's rule number one. So you don't have to be an asshole about it, but if the best move is to vote someone off to get a piece of equipment that levels the playing field so that you have the best chance to move the team or the group forward, then you need to do that. Even if that's at the expense of my game. I'm saying that about me. If it was me and those two, they should have voted me out. I'm not the best archer. I'm not the best with fire. That's the main idea. If it was me and Marshall, they should have gotten the Pharaoh rod and the bow with the two of us. Like, you have to build the best relationships possible. You have to build the best relationships possible. You have to come in with the best skill set. You have to show your team that you're worth the position, and you have to work your way up to the top of your team without appearing like you're the leader on the team, because the other teams could eliminate you for that. So that's how complex this game is, and how it's different than any other game or show or any competition that you've seen. You need to be the front runner. You need to be the best without appearing that you're the best, because now other people noticing that could be at the expense of your game. So your team has to know it, but the opposing teams don't need to know it. So that's very, very hard and complex to do. I think Pharaoh and Abby did it very, very well. They built the tightest relationship with the best skill sets, and that's how they made it the furthest, period.
I think Bravo got super lucky when it came to the players on our team. We got literally the most unproblematic people on the game board, and I think that's why the show didn't really screen our team dynamic that often, was because we really were working well together, and we were listening to each other's ideas, and we were stepping up when something was needed around camp. If I was to pick another player to bring over to our team, though, I think I would choose Leah, because Leah really does have a immense skill set when it comes to survival, and I just don't think that was able to be showcased that much during the show.
With now knowing the two women that won, would you have chosen your team any differently? The answer to this is absolutely not. We had zero drama at Bravo. There was no shit talking in the confessionals, even though they were wondering if we weren't meshing. We were meshing from the moment that we got to camp, and I think all of us laugh about it now. How lucky did we get that we ended up with the people that we had on Bravo? We were a well-oiled machine. No one was a hardcore alpha that tried to take charge aggressively, and we all worked in a collaborative way around camp. If someone was tired, hey, I can step up and fill that role, and vice versa, and let's divvy up tasks. There was no like having to beg people to step up and do things like it seemed like there were at other camps, or someone doing everything by themselves. There was absolutely none of that, and I think we all know how lucky we were to have that. Wouldn't change a thing.